Alaa Saade.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Timekeeper, honorable members of the jury, may your decision tonight be inspired both by German rigor and French candor. Dear members of the opposition, we are glad to receive a masterclass in debating from you. Friends of the proposition, ladies and gentlemen of the House, a very good evening to all of you. Mr. Pecker, I am glad you and your team came. I'm glad you came all the way from Germany to enlighten us with this self-evident yet so original opinion. Nobody's perfect, not even the German. Yes? Also, you talked about asking the random Parisian on the street if they want to be German. Well, let me tell you that. If you ask something to the first random Parisian on the street, they just won't answer. That's the Ladies and gentlemen, let me reassess once more what my Prime Minister Jean had already stated about this motion. Saying French should be more German means we should learn more from them. Unless, of course, the opposition has found a way of metamorphosing us on the spot into disciplined, handsome, and efficient Teutonic engineers, which I unfortunately doubt. What this motion doesn't mean is following blindly each and every one of their decisions, of their habits, may they be good or bad. We are simply acknowledging the fact that Germany is an inspiration for us. Don't you agree, sir?
Why aren't you so... wouldn't it be more courageous to say you really want to be German? Why aren't you courageous in the end and say maybe it's a good thing to be German?
That's precisely what I'm saying. That's why we want to become more German. Throughout history, nations have risen and fallen, but civilization have always built up on each other without losing their souls. Greeks over Mesopotamians, Romans over Greeks. These are the common pillars over which our Western world is built. By stating that the French should be more German, we are not jeopardizing the French culture. On the contrary, we are nourishing it, for it has always thrived on multiculturalism. Far from drowning under international influence, the vitality of the French culture, the vitality of any culture in the world, lies in its ability to breathe whatever is in the air at a given time, to eat German-inspired sausage, beans so dear to the heart of the British, and to merge them all gloriously into what we call the French exception, something that came to define us all as a nation, namely the cassoulet. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. A culture is like a recipe. You can import ingredients, you can even learn a recipe from a different country, but the result will be different. We all share the love of German sausages, Indian curry, and British ketchup. But unlike Berliners, we chose not to mix them all together into the infamous Currywurst and to sell it on the street. Deutsche Qualität probably applies better to cars. Those culinary examples are here to remind us that we can learn from other countries without disappearing as a culture. There is even a precise moment in history when being more German would have saved us. In 1934, General Charles de Gaulle wrote a book in which he advocated for the modernization of the French army, proposing the creation of an armored cavalry like the one the German used against us later. Had we been more German by listening to him at that time, we would have been able to fight Hitler, avoid Pétain, we would have been able to remain a sovereign state. In a word, being more German would have enabled us just to remain French. He would also have spared us a few jokes and lovely nicknames like cheese-eating surrender monkeys, courtesy of our beloved transatlantic friends. No, thank you, sir. Of course, France had a certain aura about it that the German might envy. Our perfumes are known worldwide, but this hardly compensates for the fact that half of us don't wash daily. That is, statistically, 2 or 3 members of this team who didn't shower. Our women are said not to get fat, but our society is so harsh on them that 20% take some kind of mood-altering medication so that they end up as skinny vegetables. Your leader, on the other hand, is a woman and a physicist. I come from an engineering school with 15% women, none of whom are represented in this team. Surely we can learn from you. Frenchmen go on and on about their supposed romanticism and joie de vivre, but according to surveys, our sexual satisfaction rate is roughly 20%. That is, again, statistically, one happy member of this debating team. Ladies and gentlemen, although these flaws originate in our culture, I wouldn't mind copying the German on these points. I wouldn't mind improving our French culture by becoming more German, not to kill it, but to save it. But this government goes even further. As my colleagues Bart and Adrien will show you, the same arguments apply not only to France, but also to Europe and eventually to the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all Berliners. We are all Frankfurters. We are all hamburgers. In a word, we are all German. Guten Appetit.